This is probably a good segue to our Nelk Boys segment, because that is a watershed cultural moment for the future of the country and for a lot of these people who did vote for Donald Trump. Put Nelk the guys out of it. I'm talking about young people. Remember, young men specifically broke hard for Trump in the 2024 election. Now, will they come out to vote again? Nobody knows, all right? I think so, especially people, especially age, they gain some, grasp in society, they start to. And I think this Nelk Boys moment is a very important one for, I think, both in the Israel conversation, but really politically and media-wise as well.
Yeah.
So it's been, let's transition here now. The Nelk Boys continue to talk both about the details of their interview with Bibi and Netanyahu, but more importantly, the incredible amount of remorse that they show that they have never done before. Remember, these guys have had on Trump. They had Trump on in 2020. I remember when their episode got taken down after he was talking about, the stolen election or whatever.
Yeah.
They had on Candace. They've had on all the most controversial people. They've never apologized. And yet this time, the level of freak out from their own audience and within their own cohort is such that they are doing public mea culpas. Here we have Kyle from the Nelk Boys basically not only expressing remorse, but saying he would have changed everything about the way that he did his interview with Bibi. Let's take a listen.
I wish we could go back in time and fucking grill him 1,000 times harder. And we just went in there fucking unequipped to fucking interview him. We have a lot of Muslim friends. We've been to fucking Dagestan. We all know what's in our hearts. We don't hate anybody. We're not taking sides in this shit. We love everybody. I'm sleeping great because I know how I actually feel on the inside. So, and I know a lot of you guys are fucking, and this is not an apology. This is just, we fucking walked in there and we weren't fucking ready for it, man. And we walked in there uneducated. And I can admit that. But life goes on. There's nothing you could do.
It's an apology.
He's sleeping great. You can tell.
It's an apology.
He's barely even thinking about this.
You're thinking about it, brother. I mean, in some ways, I'm like, look, you got a bunch of prank, frat, degen morons who are walking in there and they didn't know what they're doing. But they have enough.
Okay, these are 30-year-old men.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the other thing, is the like infantilizing, even like the Nelk Boys.
Right.
Like, I know that's how that's their name or whatever. Yeah. But like, you're a grown-ass man.
Yes.
And people warned you. You knew going in.
That's fair.
And you didn't do like a day of research. Like, you didn't do 5 minutes of research into, here's what he's gonna say, and here's actually what all the organizations say about whether or not they're starving Palestinians. Oh, look, here's a picture of a dead baby who's been starved to death and is clearly amazing. You couldn't be bothered to do that? And the part where he's, I've been to Dagestan. It's like, I mean, and then he's like, well, we don't take anybody's side. Still just in the, we'll just let people speak their truth. I think it's important because this is the logical conclusion of the idea that you just platform anyone, and this is not like against platforming people, but that you just have anyone on and just let them spin some bullshit.
Yeah, that's
and let them use your platform for their own ends. And the heartening part about it is that their audience was not having it. Like, that is actually heartening, but it still displays that this approach is completely morally bankrupt. And I don't care that you're gonna have, quote unquote, the other side on. Like, you had the biggest monster on the planet on your podcast and asked him about Burger King and McDonald's.
No, that was the only time that they pushed back, Krystal.
Right.
It was on Burger King.
It was on Burger King. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And you know what? You're right. At the end of the day, Kyle, Siney, you guys are 30 years old. You've built businesses. You're multimillionaires. You're right. I shouldn't excuse their idiot, because they were also self-aware enough where, if you remember, because you watched the whole thing in the beginning, they're like, we're so not qualified to do this, bro. Like, we shouldn't even be doing this. I can't believe it.
You're right.
And you're like,
shouldn't.
well, if you have the self-awareness to be saying something like that, then like maybe you shouldn't be saying it. And in fact, the details coming out of this make them look so bad. Here they are admitting that they got a script from the Israeli government when they walked into the room. Let's take a listen.
So we walked in and there was just like 20 people in suits there.
Yeah.
The setup was already there, both flags, we couldn't touch anything or move anything.
And they don't give you any restrictions like, don't ask this?
I'll be honest, they gave us a paper with questions to ask. But they also said, they kind of, they gave us a script to ask, but we didn't really follow it. Yeah. We tried our very best to to ask some questions, but I think
personally, I like the questions you ask.
So we tried our best, but we had a script. Now look, I will defend them in a certain respect. I have interviewed Trump on multiple occasions where the White House will hand me, it's ridiculous. It literally looks like it's from Microsoft Paint, and it'll be like Trump accomplishments, and it's like a single space document of all of his stuff. You're just like, oh, thank you, and you just put it off or whatever to the side. But I was prepared. I had a list of questions that I actually wanted to ask, and it's like, brother, I don't think you had a list of questions that you wanted to ask, and that's the problem. Where
it's not like he was like, yeah, they gave us a script, we threw that in the trash.
Right.
He's like, well, we didn't totally follow the script.
Yeah, and that also gets to the preconditions, right? So when you walk in there, so for example, they're like, oh, we weren't allowed to touch anything. Everything was set up. There's 20 guys in the room. It basically sounds like what happened is that the Israeli and White House set this. The Israeli government and the White House set this interview up.
Yeah.
They were like, sure, no problem. They didn't give any conditions. They didn't ask for the ability to ask for whatever they want. Apparently, the whole set is there. By the way, why are there 20 people in the room? That's fucking crazy. I would never agree to an interview like that. It's insane to have all these people in there. They didn't exert any of like the interviewer's prerogative, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you put all that together now with what we're about to show you, which is that they were basically used as useful idiots here by the White House. This was revealed when Hassan started talking with the Nelk boys about the exact circumstances, and here's what they had to say.
All right, so you guys interviewed the Hitler incarnate, Benjamin Netanyahu, and now everybody's yelling at you guys. Okay, so first and foremost, who the fuck set that up?
Some of the communications team at the White House hit us up, connected us with their communications team, and presented us the opportunity to do it. But with the Full Sun podcast, hate it or love it, right or wrong, if we ever get the opportunity to have a controversial guest on, we're never going to turn it down. Because in my opinion, what we want to do with the Full Sun podcast on is we're not afraid to have controversial people on. We're going to ask them questions. Sure, we're probably not the best at asking questions. We're not the best journalists, never claimed to be, so we might not be the best at pressing them. But in my opinion, it's up to the viewer to form their own educated opinion. Just because we have someone on and we're sitting beside someone, people aren't going to be like, oh my God, Nelk's with them. Like, I love this person. Like,
My question is, do you feel like there is a culpability that you have? Because like, look, Donald Trump is a contentious figure, and obviously he's responsible for a metric ton of pain and violence as well, but so is every other American president. That's one thing. But Benjamin Netanyahu is like unique in the sense that he's also a foreign leader, because he's getting something out of this, right? He's getting something out of this where he gets to, I guess, like try and humanize himself.
That's the thing, Hassan, is we'll have anyone on. Like next episode, we're going to have someone on with the complete opposite ideology. We're talking to a few different people, and we want to choose the right person to kind of represent the opposite side.
Okay, but Benjamin Netanyahu isn't just like a podcaster, you know what I mean? Like he's literally the prime minister that is a war criminal by the International Criminal Court. He's like literally branded as a war criminal.
I think if you watch it though too, I think me and Steiny could have pressed him a little bit harder, but we did ask him, what is your response to when people say you're starving children in Gaza? Do you think October 7th could have been prevented? Are you trying to implement regime change in Iran? We definitely did ask him some questions that I think people wanted to know.
Okay, what did he say? I mean, of course, he said
for starving children in Gaza, he said that they bring the food in and Hamas steals it and then sells it.
That's a lie. No human rights organization that works on the ground, from the UN to the World Food Program, has ever agreed to the Israeli position that this is all Hamas stealing aid or whatever.
See, and that really is what gets to it. Is like, just tossing things out without being prepared on the facts of it is actually worse, because it means that you just get their response. And Hassan, I actually think, put it quite well. Trump, I get it, it's one thing. But Bibi, in the prosecution of a war, it really is another. When the stakes are so high for millions of people, and people are dying as a direct result every single minute of every hour of every day that this continues, the death toll goes exponential.
Yeah.
That's another level, right? And I said this in our original thing. I was like, look, he doesn't sit with his own goddamn journalists in his country for a reason, because they would ask him. He only agrees to interview with the fucking Nelk boys and Brett Baer, who are all gonna glaze him about Iran. They don't even ask him anything substantive. But to the Fox point, sit down with Trey Yingst, my brother. Go sit down with Trey in your own damn country and see how that goes for you. It's not gonna go well. Like for anybody, even who has a quote, neutral stance or whatever, who's prepared with information. And that's the part that just gets me so hard with this Nelk thing.
They said something. They say something else interesting there, which I think is very illustrative of their mindset. They're like, we'll have on any controversial figure. Like they see him as in the same lane as like Candace Owens,
there you go.
or like Nick Fuentes or whatever. Like they see him in that same bucket. And I was watching R.M. Brown, who has a YouTube channel, he's a comedian, his take on this, and he was like, in their brains, there were two types of people who get clicks and people who don't get clicks. And Netanyahu, in their view, was like, oh, this is someone who, it's like the ultimate example of content brain.
Sure.
And it's like, I think either Adam Friedland or Hassan Piker said this to them too. They're like, not everything is content.
Yeah.
Like not everything is just about generating clicks and getting eyeballs and stoking some sort of a controversy so you're the center of attention. Like some things actually matter. This man is doing a genocide right now in real time with the support of our government, and you are not equipped at all. You acknowledge you are not equipped at all to actually know what's going on and be able to ask him intelligent questions, or even more importantly, ask intelligent follow-ups when he lies to your face, as he did multiple times. And so I think that's what this comes down to, is like this incredibly amoral view of the world, where it's just about like, who's gonna get eyeballs to my channel? This will be hot topic. This will get me attention. This will get eyeballs to my channel. Therefore, I'm going to do it. I'll sit down with any controversial figure. That's what they say. As if this is just, some podcaster or somebody like, trying to sell some merch or sell a book or whatever. And not to say those things aren't consequential as well, but this is so different. This is on such a different scale. And so I hope that it's a cautionary tale, because this did not go well for them. I mean, their own audience, their sub count has gone down somewhat. Their own audience completely revolted against them. I haven't seen anyone come out and say, I haven't even seen the Israeli,
no, they're humiliated by
like, oh, this was great and you guys
they
did a great
compared
job.
him to Adolf Hitler afterwards. In what world did that go well for you?
Right.
Whoa.
Exactly. Like in their post interview spin, they're like, somebody wrote in and was like, yeah, you just interviewed modern day Adolf Hitler. And he's like, yeah, you kind of got a point there. So it's just, no one is defending this. Let this be a cautionary tale of like, if you're going to play in these waters, number one, you could bring someone in. You could have as a condition for the interview, I need to have whoever it is that you trust, that you think is insightful on this, to ask some real questions. I'm going to have this person in the room I'll do it, but we're going to have this person in the room too. Or just don't do it. That would have been infinitely superior to this absolute mess for yourselves and for the world.
I think it was a good turning point, though, in the culture of the internet.
I think it could be, too.
Let's put this final one up here. This is from Mike Sternovich. I actually thought it was very insightful. And what he says is the Nelk boys, who are widely popular with Zoomers, far more than any political or MAGA influencer, had on Netanyahu, and their audience is furious. Netanyahu is deeply hated. We are talking 90-10 hated, more so than even I realized. He actually followed it up with, if you spend time on Twitter, you would think it's like 60-40. And he's like, no, guys, it's 90-10. And in fact, if you look at the like-dislike ratio on the video, I mean, look, to be fair, these can be brigaded and all of that, but it's like somewhat, indicative.
I dug deep into that comment section. I did not see a single positive comment.
Here's
not one.
33,000 likes, upvotes, 168,000 down. I mean, that's insane. Now again, you can be brigaded from outside and all of that, but that's it speaks to the point where there's not a single defense. In fact, every single person in their cohort either is ignoring it or condemning it, right?
Yeah.
And that is really very, very indicative to me. I also think it's a bat signal broadly to everybody on this issue where, like you said, it's not just content. It's really not even, I hesitate to say ditch neutrality, but it's about confrontation. And it's really about holding facts, like holding people accountable for facts. And really, if you're going to agree to it, to actually get into the nitty-gritty and not allow some eliding lies.
Yeah.
And that really was like the biggest problem with the whole thing.
And this is what pisses me off too, is because you and I have done many confrontational interviews. Neither of us likes doing it.
I hate doing it.
It's not fun.
Right.
You have to prepare a lot. It's uncomfortable. You know, there are some people out there who like enjoy the like debate bro types, and they enjoy
Chris
the fight.
Matthews, Piers, and all these people. I hate.
Yeah, I mean, I think Glenn loves to get in and mix it. Like, there are people who are wired that way. Most people are not wired that way. I'm not wired that way. But when you have someone who's sitting in front of you who aspires to power, has some position of prominence, it is a responsibility that you have to be prepared and to be uncomfortable if that's what the interview requires. And so this idea that it's somehow like noble and good to do none of that and just let people spout off whatever they want, it actually pisses me off because it's a coward's and a lazy way out. Yeah, it's not fun to have to do those things. I get it. But that is actually, if you want to play in these ponds, if you want to swim in these waters, that is actually what is required. And you don't have to be an asshole about it. It doesn't have to be personal.
Right.
But you need to come equipped with facts and replies and think about, okay, here's what they're going to say and here's how I'm going to follow up. You have to game all of that out in advance and be willing to sit in that discomfort and just do it anyway. So
I agree. And that's why the Nelk guys would be better off not doing it.
Oh,
and they
of
would have
course.
been better
Yeah.
off passing. And by the way, the fact that the Israelis would only agree to Nelk and not to anybody else, I mean, it tells you something, right?
yeah.
It really does. Like, honestly, I'm being serious. This will sound crazy to say. Even like a pro-Zionist political person might have actually done a better job because they are going to be equipped with or they're going to know what to tee him up on. And they're going to actually get him on the record for various things instead of generic stuff like, what's up with all these people starving in Gaza? Or what did he say? He's
asked,
like,
and he
why
didn't
does
even
everybody
ask.
hate you? That's a stupid fucking question.
and he didn't even ask, like,
Yeah.
why are people starving? He said, why do people say?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. Right.
And then Bibi could just, oh, well, they're lying, and
Yes.
we love the Palestinians, and we're trying to get them aid, and Hamas is stealing it. It's just like,
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.